Hey there, fellow Martians, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Farlanders, Episode 5, Underground Secrets. I do feel a little bad for the houses on the east section that don't have access to their own pool. So how about I make a pool for them? For that, I can use this terraforming tech of a ground hydrator, which creates wet soil wherever you put it, and then plop a pool on it. Why did I say wrong terrain? Oh, I thought it allowed you to do that. Maybe I'm wrong. I have a lot of money to play with, so I'm not too worried about the cost of things. So let's go ahead and... well, I don't even have offered electronics to buy. Yes, I need water, not wet soil. True. Let's make that into water. Wow. Water is too costly. A water terraform is too costly, so never mind. Gonna have to wait. More canyons then. There we go. I'm going to move this reinforced pipe. So it's canyonable there, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to put the canyon there. Nice luxury housing. Well, morale's getting ridiculous now. And then I wanted to generate water, but unfortunately none of the patterns I can afford. So, not going to worry about that then. I can buy some more electronics, though. So next turn I should hit 40. So I bought enough electronics to hit the requirement. It appears we've produced a sufficient supply of electronics. We should have all we need to make our way deeper underground. Great! I'll try to find a passage. We have to be close now. I can just feel it. So, reach a depth of -3 in the next, like 18 turns. So I'm at -2 already. That's a good start. So I'll get a scanner built here. Try to figure out where there might be more underground. And then, knowing that I'm going to have to do some blasting, I'm going to start stockpiling up explosive terraform tech. Because in order to gain access to the additional caverns, stuff needs to go boom. Oh, already found an anomaly? Neat. I'd like to reveal a little bit more of the map before I use more of the terraform tech. Yeah, when in doubt, just throw TNT at it. Exactly. So why not? And given the amount of resources I have, I can also just throw more scanners at it. So if I'm like, hey, I don't know where to explore, obviously these scanners overlap with one another, but because they slowly reveal over time, more scanners equals more map knowledge faster, which can be helpful. And use some of the TNT to make nice luxury houses. I like how this luxury house is empty. Like, what the hell, man? It's like surrounded by canyons, and I guess it doesn't have a pool, and they're like, oh, well, no pool, guess we're not moving in. Ugh. Erudites. Or, bougie. Bourgeoisie. All I can say about that. Alright. Where have we revealed? So, let's see if I can't... It looks like there's a cavern there. So let's flip this. Oh, yep, there we go. To number to level 3 right there. Perfect. So do a little bit of drilling here and there, and that will open up the path. Another thing that has been the case up here, as you can see, is I'm at like max metals and glass, and I could ramp down my metals and glass production so that I'm not like wasting oodles amounts going over capacity. But because this is somewhat of a short scenario, I'm not too worried about like over drilling, because it's not going to come back to bite me. So I already have all the infrastructure to get to this underground passage laid out. I'll even put the passage in. So next turn, I should be able to win. Done. Whoa, hey! What do we have here? I think we found what we were sent here for. Let me get a closer look. Such a peculiar glow. This can't be. Marco, this object, it almost behaves like a subatomic particle, like a massive quark. It doesn't appear to be made of anything other than what we can see. This is in its most elementary form. That's remarkable. How is this even possible? I wish I had an answer. There's nothing like this known to the world of physics. Nothing even slightly comparable. Is it safe? I don't detect any gamma radiation emitting from this super quark, so it may be reasonable to assume so. On the other hand, it may kill us at any moment. Well, great. Guess we're going to have to call this in an extraction team to, hey, don't just grab it with your hands. Embrace the chaos, Marco. Chaos is science. Science is the future. Let's get this back to the lab. When in doubt, just grab the giant subatomic particle. There we go. So we got victory with all possible objectives at times done. Nice. Chapter 5, Playing God. Yarp. Okay, Victoria, the suspense is officially killing me. Tell us what you've learned. Indeed. Well, research has shown that the superquark does in fact possess temporal qualities, though it's quite unstable in its current state. This includes what appears to be bending and folding of spacetime, which can be observed with the naked eye. And because of its instability, the difficulty to ascertain exactly how the superquark will behave when directly exposed to organic matter. Sounds pretty dangerous, if I'm being honest. Have we conducted exposure tests with flora? Affirmative, and while not purely conclusive, I feel confident enough in my research to have optimistic expectations. Still, we should probably tread lightly, especially considering Marco's next task is to focus on growing life. But I sincerely believe we could. Esther's right. As excited as we all are, we're not pulling the trigger on anything until we have a much better idea of what we're dealing with. Very well. Still, this is all tremendous stuff, Victoria. Thank you. How about Marco? How about you, Marco? Feeling good about all of this? Mostly, yeah. Though I really could have used a class or two on physics-breaking discoveries back at the academy. You can say that again. In any case, I'm ready to tackle my next mission, superquark or no superquark. Great, because growing plant life to sustain a colony is one of the most important things you'll do here at Foresight. Even more important than making a once-in-the-generation discovery. Didn't they just grab it with their bare hands? Well, I'm assuming everyone was in spacesuits, because we are on the surface of Mars. So Victoria might have grabbed it, but she was probably wearing an exosuit. Because there was no atmosphere down there. So either she's immortal somehow, or she was wearing a spacesuit. All right. So the side objectives is to build a park and grow moss. The main objective is to have a colony of 200, which means a lot of farming and a lot of food production and therefore water and power. And to do it within 80 turns. This is also probably going to be my last campaign scenario of this stream, I'd imagine. All right, we're aiming for a large, healthy population for this colony, so let's not waste any time. We'll need a hand from some specialists, each of which provides a unique boost to the colony, so get that population up. Sounds like a plan. Hopefully there will be a botanist available to hire. Might come in handy for this job. So in the colony info, you start to get specialists. Oh, Jesus. I didn't see Tusk like run past me, and I was like, what is beneath me? You get specialists at a small town, which is a population of 150. So let's get there. Starting location. Well, there's minerals here. Yeah. That farm sucks, though, or that water node sucks. Also, usually on your first turn, you're given the ability to grow plants. So I'm going to be very risky here. Very, very risky indeed. And plop my starter here. It's risky because... Ooh, actually, no, I don't like that. Yeah, maybe here, actually. That's a bit better. Yeah. Doing it. Pulling the trigger. Planting the houses. Houses should be up in this cluster up here. So, colony morale matters a lot more for larger colonies. As you grow, people will not want to immigrate unless the colony is nice. So for the scenarios that I've already passed, it was really not a significant factor for me, for morale. Now it will be, because as I want to grow up to a colony size of 200, which is the objective, I need to keep people happy while I do it, and fed, and with all the other amenities, right? So, planning out communities, bundles of colonies where you provide morale and support is going to be, like, critically important for getting large colonies going. All right, so we have housing and employment for the first 10 already. Belhar, thank you for the resub. Cheers. So here we go. As I was saying, usually your first terraforming tank provides you the opportunity to make water. This one would be ideal because it modifies 3 tiles, whereas the other 2 just modify 1 tile. One requires 3 mountains in a row, so I could, like, put water here, but it's pretty worthless. So making water would be great. And then using the TNT properly would be really good too. I'm just looking for a spot that fulfills those requirements. Like this would be pretty good. I nuke both those mountains and I produce water there. That might be what I go for. Yeah, I like that. It's better than, I think, the other alternatives. Okay. Got it. We will also use the technology to get water extraction and energy conservation. So, where to put solar? So let's assume that the underground passageways that we utilize... I might want to head to this one because there's other anomalies near it. that would be exploitable. And also, in order to fully utilize this farm, I'm going to want to clear out all these spaces, which means that if I have farms here, this passageway is only 2 tiles away. So it would be ideal to go for this underground passageway to go underground. Which means that this area will be heavily utilized, which is another way for me saying putting my solar panels down here might not be a terrible idea. Plus, it's kind of an expansive area. I could also put the solar panels over here. I actually like that, because this is kind of well out of the way. The only thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to block this silicon deposit. I want there to be a valid path sometime in the future to hit that silicon. Because taking a look at the resources around me, there is not a lot of other silicon. Like, that's pretty much this silicon is the only other node above ground. So, filling up, like, imagining that we clear all this wasteland, I don't want to block that. So, with all that known, I think this is still my best bet. Putting my power down here, because I can have it be in a cluster of 9. Alright. And then that means that this node can become just for water pumping. Which I will add once I have the resources. So in 2 turns, I have 10 more immigrants. Let's get the housing for that. Starting to get built. So the houses are down. And then food. I'm not going to be able to do the full tubing for the food, though. That will come next turn. And the checklist is just to hit Papa 30. Hey, JD. Thank you for the resub, too. Ooh, wow. That's a lot of good terraforming. I'll have to figure out where I want to put that. Well, first things first, food. And power. I could terraform here, or here, to start opening up the way to go towards the tunnel. I'm probably not going to be able to use all spots, I'd imagine. I could also do this as well. That's not a terrible call. It puts 1 mountain in, but it fills in 2 of the canyons. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. It fills in 2 of the canyons that I need to fill in to get to that tunnel. So instead of going through this mountain, I'm planning on going through this wasteland, which I think will be actually easy to get through. Right. We're going to want a water pump pretty soon, because I'm in a water deficit. And I'm in a food deficit, which means more water. So I'll put the infrastructure down for a water pump, so I can build the water pump next turn. Don't think I'm going to be able to address the next immigration wave, though. I'm going to deal with the deficits before I bring in more immigrants. Actually, I don't have an immigration wave. I know I'm in the way, but I don't have an immigration wave for at least 5 turns. So I am going to change my mind on that. And actually just plan on... One of these houses is going to suck because it's going to be within the negative radius of the factory, but that's okay for now. Just because I'm not going to have an opportunity to hit 30 pop for a while if I don't do it right now. And getting the 30 pop will offer me technology, which is going to be really important. All right. So we got trading, loans, colony morale, And then tech, food, and electronics. So I got more food than I have capacity for, but oh well. Now, if we want to start cultivating life, you'll need to research the right technologies. First, the order of business is to get a bio storehouse. You'll need a bio storehouse in order to grow bacteria nearby. And that bacteria literally lays the groundwork by prepping the soil for growing mosses, right? You're a botany pro, Marco. Oh, and while you're talking about the technologies, consider researching the technologies needed for parks. This colony will be flush with greenery, so you might as well put it to good use, spruce up the community, and share it with other colonies. You get the idea. A little form, a little function, sure, I'll try my best. So the side objective is to grow mosses, and then to potentially build a park on those mosses. So that technology is over here. Life on Mars 1 gives you moss and aquatic ecosystems. And then Life on Mars 2 gives you grass and biodomes. And then Flora Under the Dome gives you parks and artificial sunlight. Artificial sunlight illuminates greenhouses that are under, like, obscured by mountains. So with my 10 tech now, I'm going to do scouting, farming utilities, and then save the rest. So I don't quite have mosses yet, but I'm headed towards there. So, how to use this? Either this. I actually like this. Doing it like this. Putting the fire on the canyon opens up the path to the underground passage, and that also clears. Actually, I like this better. Yeah. That clears 2 of the tiles towards being able to use the water for better farming. Stick the pump in. Now we got water. And solar panels. So now I'm in a little bit of a food deficit, but, like, it's not terrible. And I do have access to this fertile soil, so I'll be able to grow on that soon. Head in the right direction. And the other thing I got was scanning. Or scouting, rather. So with scouting, I can start to build the anomaly research camps. I'm not sure I want to do that right now, though, because addressing the food needs is probably more urgent. This gives minerals, and this gives electronics. Now, thinking about food needs, unless I get an option to do some more terraformation, I really am going to be strapped for food pretty soon. I'm not worried about that just yet, though. The farming utilities that I have access to also allows me to do a ground hydrator. So for a really steep price of water, I could hydrate these tiles while I wait for the terraforming tech. But I think I'm going to get lucky with terraforming tech next turn, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. Nope, did not really get lucky with the terraform tech. There might be something to do here, though. Not really. Seeing if I couldn't put a fertile soil without doing too much damage. Oh, that's not terrible. I get 1 more fertile soil, and I don't nuke anything that I particularly care about. I make a canyon into a canyon, and make a wasteland into a canyon. It's not awful. So sure, let's go for it. And now we're in the positive for food. And we're in the positive for everything now. Cool. Probably the next big push is going to be to add additional housing. The problem is, my houses are like, I can't expand anymore because I'm terrain limited from wasteland and canyons. I can expand towards the factory, but obviously nobody likes that. I do eventually get the ability to do noise filtering. So for the price of some power and electronics, I can dampen the noise of the factory. But that requires me to get efficient housing and glass production first. But that might not be a bad idea. Just to, like, decide to plan my community here. Damn be the consequences of building too close to the factory. Knowing that it can silence the factory at a later time. Sure. I'm going to accept this entire immigration wave, knowing that I'll go into the deficit for food while I wait for terraforming tech to arrive. And also that those houses aren't going to be exceptionally happy given that they're in factory proximity. But I think it's worth it in the long run. Let's start to get these anomalous camps out of the way so I can expand the power grid, because they're in the way of my solar field. And I will have to start planning on where I put the next groundwater pump. So I've got another electronics camp over here that I don't believe I can physically get to. You can't put power cables through mountains or canyons, and canyons and mountains block access to that pretty much entirely. I don't yet have the tech, because it's unlocked in terraforming tools, to be able to melt ice. So this here might be my next opportunity for groundwater. So I could start to plan to put a water tank there. The other thing I have to think about is where I want my next farm, because the 8 farms around one water hole isn't going to be enough to feed 200 pop, like not even close. I could try to get out this way. That's not unreasonable of a sort of a long-term goal, or melt this and to farm up there. But that's another thing I'm going to have to consider, is like where my next big farm is going to be placed. But I'll put my next big water pump there. That's what I'm planning. Alright. Not bad tech. Get another fertile soil spot, which is going to help for food. Like it. Oh, it's in the shadow of the mountain, though. That's rough. I don't have artificial light yet, though. Floor under the dome. So I'm just gonna... I'm not gonna undo. I'm just gonna eat that. Which is fine. The other thing I could do, at least temporarily, is import food. So, like, next turn I'll import some food to supplement what I'm missing for now. I could also do ground hydrators if I'm really in a pinch. But I would require... It would require me to stabilize it. Oh, that's another thing I could do. Is the, if I had the terraforming tech, I could use ground stabilization. To get these sands into fertile soil. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So, knowing that that is a potential option, getting my population up to 60 in order to get my next thing of technology would be good. The other solution is to just get technology through scanning. So I'm going to get a scanner up to see if there are anomalies near me that I could exploit for science. That's a lot of water. Stolen hole for food. I think I'm going to hold off on expanding my population because I'm worried that I won't be able to feed them, and you get people emigrating and leaving and penalized and fined if you can't feed them. So I won't go that route. I'm just going to hope that terraforming opportunities afford me the ability to grow more food soon. Oh yeah, here we go. So I can super nuke the mountains to get them out of the way. It does make one canyon if I do it that way, or I can use this pattern to nuke these two mountains. Or like that. I'm trying to... I don't know which one's more useful. Maybe this way. And immediately that gives me a greenhouse here. I can also put a food silo for adjacency bonuses, probably here, which levels this greenhouse up a little bit to plus one more food than I otherwise would have received, which is a little helpful. And I can do more food silos where the zone is applicable in order to bolster the greenhouses that I currently have. So like I could do another food silo here to add one more food to this one. But now I'm only in the food negative of 3, so it's not a big deal. Let's see what next turn brings, or the turn after. Waiting on additional terraforming tech. Oh boy, that was a lot of minerals from that node, and electronics. So with those two camps gone, I can fix my power with a huge adjacency bonus. I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to get a water tank to be able to store water so that I can go well over the cap for water. And then to do the same with power as well. So I put the power capacitor in the shadow of this mountain because the shadow is not going to be useful for solar panels, right? But it will still provide an adjacency bonus for that solar panel. And I'm just going to start filling up my food and my power and water very quickly. All right, come on, terraforming tech, be useful. It's very useful. Sweet. So this one here allows me to do 2 more farms, solving my food crisis entirely, and allowing me to dramatically expand my pop. There we go. Okay, cool. A lot of housing now. So I'm ready to start immigrating tons and tons of people with everything that I have now. That was right there a big old game changer, as you can probably tell. This scanner is at max size. It found nothing. We combed the desert and we found nothing. Damn it. All right, I'll put another scanner maybe around here. Could have been worse. It wasn't useful, but like, you know. Yeah, I guess it really wasn't useful. Maybe get another scanner out this way as well. So I can't run a cable here. There's no valid path, but I could run a cable here. It might overlap the zone a little bit, but I wouldn't have been able to go any further. I could have put it here, I guess, but I wouldn't have been able to go too much further east because this whole swath of ground is blocked to me at present without some additional terraforming. So bringing in the immigrants. So the next big task is to get my pop up to 60 for more technology options, and then also to make sure that I'm providing food, because at the moment I'm breaking even for food, which is not a good situation to be when I know I'm going to want to add more people. So somehow either managing to either tap these farms, these fertile soils, or to melt the ice here, so that I can start farming these areas is going to be pretty mission critical, I think. Another potential solution, however, is to do underground expansion. Yeah, let me get glass production. Work my way to underground expansion, and then see if there's any farming opportunities underground, because that's also a possibility. Yeah. I just had the option to add more water. So I gotta figure where that might be most useful. So what I'm sort of looking for is a spot that I can path to that has a lot of decent terrain near it. That ideally the water location is in a is going to be in a canyon, so it's immediately liquid. Because if it wasn't immediately liquid, it's really not helpful to me. So this spot is doable. It's not ideal because there's not a lot of accessible terrain around it. I would have to do a considerable terraforming to turn that into like a productive farm. And then up here isn't ideal because I can't path to it. But there is more terrain around it that I will be able to utilize in the future. So it's like a stopgap measure now, or like potentially more productive later on. I could also plan to have adjacency for this water spot. So like putting the water here, so that I get 2 farms next to one another for like a bigger bonus. Although they're a little too close to one another, if I'm honest. Probably putting it like up here is going to be ideal. I have a feeling. Because this has a lot of fertile soil, and it's only one wasteland away from being able to be used. I think I made the right decision there. So in order to use that, I need 10 more people for the tech to be able to start buying terraforming tech to get rid of this wasteland. So in the next immigration wave, that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. I think that was the right call. Oh, I don't... So, here's the issue. Because I don't have a global modifier of above 2, the next immigration wave is only going to send me 5 people, not 10. If I don't think shutting down this factory in time is going to matter, though. I don't think 10 is going to join me. What I should have done is 2 turns ago shut down that factory to attract more immigration. Or, alternatively... actually, there's an alternative here. It's an expensive alternative. I could, you know what? No, I'm going to undo that turn. They're not going to move significantly enough for it to matter. So yeah, I'm going to lose this immigration wave, unfortunately. But I'll just eat the cost. Which is fine. What I will do at this point, though, is buy some additional landing pads with all the minerals that I have. And let's see what I got here. So I do have a pattern that has shovels I just don't know if I can use those shovels to open up the path in a meaningful way to that northern farm. I could do it like this, but that doesn't have me terraforming anything else. So it's probably what I'm going to do, but it's really expensive. Right? Because it doesn't fix anything but that one square. But, it's gotta be, it's gotta be. And then that, of course, is still in shadow, so it's really not ideal. I need to blow up that mountain ASAP, in other words. But at least people are fed. That's, I guess, what ultimately matters. Thank you for watching Farlanders, which originally streamed live on Twitch September 5th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community, Rhadamant.com or the description of this video have a link to Discord. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I'll catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Martian.